It feels like every single week there are just a handful of major AI announcements. It leaves you scrambling to keep up.
Right. It's a lot.
Yeah, and you want to understand the trajectory, the
Uh-huh.
real implications. But, I mean, the sheer volume of news can be overwhelming.
Totally.
So that's what we're tackling today. Forget the endless scrolling. We've sort of distilled some of the most significant recent AI developments down to their core.
That's right. We've zeroed in on 4 key areas that really offer a snapshot of where things are headed.
Right.
There's Meta's strategic push with its Llama AI models, then Google's pretty impressive progress in making real-time speech translation a reality.
That one sounds amazing.
It does. Then the intriguing whispers around OpenAI's next hardware venture and Klarna's rather bold move with an AI CEO avatar.
Right, the AI CEO. Okay, so while these might seem like separate headlines, our goal today is, I guess, to uncover the threads connecting them, to understand the bigger picture of AI innovation.
Exactly, finding the underlying trends.
So let's dive straight into Meta then, and their Llama for Startups program.
Yes.
What's the underlying strategy here?
Well, the key thing to understand with Meta's Llama for Startups is their ambition to really cultivate a widespread community around their Llama models.
Build an ecosystem.
Precisely. This program, it's aimed at U.S.-based early-stage generative AI startups, limited funding, at least one developer.
Yeah.
And it offers pretty significant incentives, like up to $6,000 a month for 6 months, plus direct support from Meta's own Llama team.
Wow, okay.
So it's a clear play to get their technology embedded in new applications right from the ground up.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of financial support could be a real lifeline for a young company. And they're claiming, what, over 1 billion downloads for Llama already? It seems like they're gaining some traction.
They are definitely getting traction, but we're also hearing about some, significant competition in this open model space, aren't we?
Right.
Absolutely. While 1 billion downloads shows broad interest, the landscape for these foundational AI models is, well, fiercely competitive.
Who are the main players?
You've got companies like DeepSeek, Google, Alibaba's Quinn. They're all vying for developer attention. And Meta has also faced some challenges.
Like what?
Well, like the reported delay of their Llama 4 Behemoth model, apparently due to benchmark performance issues.
Oh, okay.
And then there was that controversy around the LM Arena benchmark, where a different version of Llama 4 Maverick, one optimized for conversation, was apparently used, not the public one. That kind of complicates their position.
It sounds like it's not just about having a powerful model then. It's also about building trust and showing consistent performance.
Exactly. Transparency matters.
But despite these hurdles, Meta seems to have very significant financial expectations tied to their generative AI efforts.
Oh, definitely. From a strategic perspective, Meta is clearly looking at the long-term monetization potential here. Big time.
What kind of numbers are we talking?
Their projections, well, they range from maybe $2 to $3 billion in revenue by 2025, but the potential long-term, by 2035, it could be massive. We're talking $460 billion up to maybe $1.4 trillion.
Whoa. Trillion.
So they're exploring various revenue streams, sharing agreements with developers, providing an API for customization,
Okay.
and even integrating ads and subscriptions into their Meta AI offerings.
So to chase those kinds of ambitious goals, it sounds like a massive level of investment is needed, right?
The scale of investment is indeed substantial, huge. Their Gen AI budget for 2024 was over $900 million.
Just for Gen AI?
No, it's for Gen AI. And it's projected to exceed $1 billion this year. On top of that, their planned capital expenditures for 2025, we're looking at $60 to $80 billion.
Billion with a B.
Yes, primarily focused on building out the necessary data center infrastructure. You need that to power these demanding models.
Right.
It really underscores just how resource-intensive cutting-edge AI development actually is.
Okay, so for someone trying to make sense of all this, what's the key takeaway regarding Meta's strategy? It seems like they're definitely in it for the long haul, but it's a tough and, well, incredibly expensive race.
Yeah, I think the implication here is that Meta is betting heavily on this open model approach as a way to achieve scale and foster innovation on their platform.
Right.
But the challenges they're hitting, they highlight the difficulties of competing in this field. It's evolving so fast. Technical skill has to be matched by, strategic partnerships and really deep pockets.
Yeah.
It raises an important question for developers, doesn't it? Which foundational models offer the best mix of performance, support, and, crucially, long-term stability?
That's a good point. Okay, let's move on to something that might have a more immediate impact on how we all connect. Google Meet's announcement of real-time speech translation. This feels like something straight out of science fiction finally becoming reality.
It really does. And what's truly remarkable about Google's real-time translation in Meet is how they're doing it. They're leveraging these advancements in large language audio models from Google DeepMind
Right.
to bridge language barriers in a really seamless way. I mean, imagine having a conversation where the words are translated almost instantly,
Yeah.
but not just the content, also preserving the speaker's voice, their tone, even like their emotional expression.
They gave some really compelling examples, didn't they? Like families connecting across language divides
Yeah, grandkids talking to grandparents in different languages.
and global teams collaborating without friction. It really highlights the potential for just breaking down those communication barriers.
Exactly. And a critical aspect here is the reported low latency. That's key.
Why is that so important?
Well, the challenge with older translation tech was often the delay, right? It made natural conversation really difficult, sort of stilted.
Yeah, that awkward pause.
Exactly. Google's advancements seem to be significantly reducing that lag, enabling more fluid multi-person interactions, and the user experience they described, where you faintly hear the original voice with the translated speech overlaid, that sounds designed to maintain a sense of connection.
Interesting. And when can people actually start trying this out?
The rollout is basically starting now. Beta access for consumer AI subscribers began this week,
Okay.
initially supporting English to Spanish and vice versa. Then Italian, German, and Portuguese are coming soon.
And for businesses?
Yep, plans are also in place to bring this to business users through Workspace. Early testing is slated for later this year.
Wow. Think about the implications for just communication and collaboration. Could this fundamentally change how we interact globally? It feels like a pretty significant step towards a more interconnected world.
It absolutely does. It raises a huge question about the future of global collaboration and, understanding.
Yeah.
If real-time, high-quality speech translation becomes widely accessible, it could really democratize communication, fostering a greater exchange of ideas, perspectives across different cultures, different languages. What stands out most to you about this?
For me, I think it's the potential to just lower the barriers to entry for international collaboration in so many fields, business, education, scientific research.
That's a key point. The ability to communicate effectively, regardless of language, could really unlock a new era of global interaction. It's quite profound when you think about it.
It really is. Okay, now, shifting gears to something a bit more, well, under wraps. The reports about OpenAI working on a new AI companion device. This has definitely sparked a lot of curiosity.
Yeah, this one's interesting. The intriguing aspect of OpenAI's reported hardware plans is this potential move beyond current trends, like AI wearables, towards maybe a completely new category of device.
So what are the reports saying it is?
Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, Sam Altman has described it as compact, screenless.
Greenless, okay.
Yeah, screenless. And fully aware of its user's surroundings. The idea is something small enough to maybe sit on your desk or fit in your pocket. And positioned as a third core device, alongside, say, your MacBook Pro and iPhone, an AI companion deeply integrated into your daily life.
And their recent acquisition and that partnership with Jony Ive's firm, that seems to underscore they're pretty serious about this hardware venture, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That significant equity deal to acquire IO, the startup founded by Jony Ive.
The former Apple design chief.
Exactly. It highlights the critical role design and user experience are playing in OpenAI's vision for this device. And Altman's reported ambition for this. Well, he apparently thinks this new device category could potentially add $1 trillion to their market value.
$1 trillion.
Yeah.
Just from this device category. That's a massive ambition.
It is. It speaks volumes about their aspirations.
And the secrecy surrounding this is quite notable, too, especially given that, well, details have still managed to surface.
Yeah, the emphasis on secrecy definitely adds to the intrigue, doesn't it? While the details are limited, the fact that Altman's vision has become public knowledge, well, it just underscores the intense scrutiny and excitement around OpenAI's next moves.
So just imagining this, a screenless, context-aware AI companion, what kinds of tasks or interactions do you think it might actually facilitate in our daily lives? It's almost like picturing a digital assistant, but as a totally different form.
It really prompts a fundamental question, I think, about how we might interact with AI in the future. Moving away from screens could suggest a shift towards more maybe ambient and intuitive AI experiences.
Quiet.
Well, perhaps this device could proactively provide information based on your context or manage tasks through voice, maybe even subtle cues, offer personalized assistance throughout your day. Perhaps act as a more natural interface with the physical world around you.
Hmm.
The possibilities are quite speculative right now, but that focus on being context aware really suggests a highly personalized and integrated AI experience.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, though, about the balance between that kind of seamless integration and, well, the potential privacy considerations.
Hmm.
A device that's constantly aware of its environment. It would need to handle sensitive information with the absolute utmost care.
That's a crucial point, absolutely crucial. User trust and really robust privacy safeguards will be essential for any such device to gain widespread acceptance. No question.
All right, let's switch to our last topic, a rather unconventional application of AI. Klarna using an AI avatar of their CEO to present their quarterly earnings. That definitely raised some eyebrows.
It certainly did. What's striking about Klarna's approach is their very public embrace of AI. It's almost like a central element of their corporate identity now.
Right.
Delivering their financial results through a digital avatar of CEO Sebastian Siemiatkowski was definitely a novel tactic. They even included, subtle visual and auditory cues to indicate it wasn't the real person. Less blinking, voicing slightly off.
It was certainly a memorable way to deliver an earnings report, and it ties directly into their whole narrative of AI driving their recent success, doesn't it?
Precisely. Klarna is highlighting AI as a key driver in reaching 100 million users and achieving their fourth consecutive profitable quarter.
But there was also the workforce angle.
Yes, they've also reported a significant reduction in their workforce, roughly 40%, which is huge,
Wow.
which they attribute directly to implementing AI-powered efficiencies, resulting in a substantial increase in revenue per employee. And the human CEO, the real Sebastian Siemiatkowski, has publicly confirmed these figures.
Okay, so this naturally brings up that broader conversation about AI potentially taking on leadership roles.
Yeah.
Even, at the very top of organizations. We've seen some humorous takes on this, like that artist in April Fool's video.
Right, the AI CEO.
But there's also serious discussion about the possibilities here.
Well, if you think about the core functions of a CEO, analyzing data, formulating strategy, making those high-level decisions, it's conceivable that AI, especially these advanced reasoning models, could perform some of those tasks pretty effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was research from Harvard Business Review even suggesting that an AI based on GPT-4o could mostly outperform human CEOs in certain scenarios.
Mostly outperform.
Yep.
But there was a pretty significant caveat in that research, wasn't there?
Indeed, there was, a very important one. The study also highlighted a critical limitation. The AI CEO was quickly, quote, fired by the simulated board
Why?
for its poor handling of unforeseen crises, specifically black swan events like sudden market downturns.
Yeah.
This really underscores the current limitations of AI, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with ambiguity, adapting to totally unexpected situations, exercising that nuanced judgment that human leaders often bring, especially during a crisis.
So humans are still needed for the curveballs.
It seems so, for now at least. While AI capabilities will undoubtedly evolve, this suggests that human leadership, that adaptability, and maybe emotional intelligence will likely remain crucial for navigating complexity and uncertainty for some time.
Okay, so considering Klarna's experiment and this broader discussion, what are your thoughts on the potential for AI to take on leadership roles in the future? What are the real benefits and the potential drawbacks as you see them now?
It really raises a fundamental question about the nature of leadership itself, doesn't it? And what we value in those who guide organizations.
Yeah.
While AI might offer advantages in, say, data processing and strategic analysis, pure logic, the ability to inspire, to empathize, to navigate complex human dynamics,
Yeah.
that remains a critical aspect of effective leadership.
Right.
Klarna's use of an avatar is, well, it's a provocative demonstration of AI's potential, sure, but the widespread replacement of human CEOs by AI, that still seems like a pretty distant prospect, particularly when you consider the need for those adaptable, maybe emotionally intelligent responses to unforeseen challenges.
This has been a truly insightful exploration, I think, of these four pretty diverse AI developments. We've looked at Meta's big ambitions in the foundational model space.
And the competition they face.
Exactly. Google's impressive strides in real-time communication.
Which could change how we connect globally.
OpenAI's secretive, ambitious hardware plans.
That new device category.
And Klarna's bold, maybe slightly unsettling experiment with AI in a leadership role.
Yeah, what's really evident is just the remarkable speed and the sheer breadth of innovation across the whole AI landscape. These seemingly disparate stories, when you put them together, they collectively paint a picture of a future where AI is becoming increasingly integrated into, well, pretty much various facets of our lives,
Hmm.
from the underlying technologies powering apps to the very tools we use, and perhaps even, as Klarna suggests, the leadership structures we employ.
So, reflecting on all of this,
Yeah.
what future AI capability are you personally most eager to see develop? And maybe more importantly, what potential societal implications do you think deserve the most careful consideration as these advancements keep unfolding at this pace?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot to think about.